Straight ahead on 12 News, cutting the ribbon in the heart of Medical Device Alley in Plymouth. Smith's Medical formally opens with nearly 600 workers. Then, ready to close for good, the Brooklyn Park Library closes this weekend as the finishing touches go on a brand new library. But first, unfinished business. Local lawmakers react as the session ends without agreement on several major issues. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The regular session of the legislature's history, but some major issues remain unresolved.
And that includes a bonding bill, transportation funding, and a more secure driver's license. Delane Cleveland has reaction from several local senators on the lack of compromise.
On the final day of the legislative session, senators packed into the Senate chambers to say goodbye to their retiring colleagues.
That's when we put on our happy faces and forget all of that entanglements and debate.
It's a happy moment in a day filled with finger pointing over the fact that the session ended with unfinished business.
It would have been nice to have had these matters worked out in enough time for all of us to, conclude in an orderly fashion.
Lawmakers failed to meet Sunday night's deadline to pass a transportation bill and a bonding bill which pays for construction projects.
There were over $700 million of needed road and bridge repair and rebuilding costs in this bonding bill.
Repairs that, for now at least, will be put on hold. And much of it comes down to the DFLers' desire to secure a funding provision for the Southwest Light Rail line in the bonding package.
It's been a very clear message to the House that light rail was critical for this year, or we would lose almost $900 million in federal funding and cause perhaps a permanent ending of that project or a 10 to 15-year delay.
DFL Senator Ann Rest says they had an agreement with House Republicans to pass a bonding bill that included light rail.
Clearly, we would not have entertained a bonding bill that didn't have transit in it.
Republican Senator Warren Limmer claims that light rail was off the table.
The light rail was never part of the negotiation until last night when it was pushed as an amendment in the last 3 minutes, and it was designed, jam it in there and then throw it back to the House, take it or leave it.
Whatever the case, it might take a special session to work out the issues. Whether that happens is up to the governor. At the Capitol, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The legislature did pass legislation that spends more on early childhood education, a tax bill with $260 million in tax cuts. As the session closes, one of the senators saying goodbye is DFLer Terry Bonoff, who represents parts of Minnetonka and Plymouth. Instead of running for re-election, Bonoff is running for Congress. Bonoff said her 11 years in the legislature went by quickly. She thanked lawmakers on both sides of the aisle and said goodbye is not forever, just for what she called the next chapter.
1 month from today, the new Brooklyn Park Library will open, and by the end of this week, the old one will close. The current library near City Hall first opened its doors back in 1976. It's less than half the size of the new library that's replacing it. The old building will close for good at 5 p.m. Sunday.
And then the following week, the collection will move in its entirety to the new space. And staff will be coming into the building shortly thereafter to learn about the new building and train and kind of prepare the new building for the public.
The new Brooklyn Park Library near North Hennepin Community College opens on June 23rd. It's a $23 million facility that's described as a landmark for the city for decades to come. It's unclear what will happen to the old building. Brooklyn Park is riding a wave of new construction.
As Eric Nelson reports, city officials say people are starting to understand the draw of the Highway 610 corridor.
New business continues to pop up on the Brooklyn Park Prairie.
We still have 1,000 acres of undeveloped land, so that's a lot of opportunity for different developments to come forward.
Suddenly, the 610 corridor has morphed into a business mecca.
We could see that there was a tremendous amount of development going on.
The Stone Mountain Pet Lodge, which will employ between 50 and 60 people, is the latest company to say yes to BP.
We had a tremendous amount of support from the City Council. We We really felt that we had several people that were really cheerleaders for us to come there, that wanted our business.
With the opening of Highway 610 all the way to 94 in Maple Grove, I think it's really allowed people to understand that this is going to be a really intense corridor in the future.
Just down the road from the Stone Mountain site, construction is almost complete on the 610 West apartment buildings and Hy-Vee grocery store.
We know a lot of people are anxious to see Hy-Vee get their doors open.
Meanwhile, just to the west of Hy-Vee, Star Exhibits is also being built. Up and down the 610 corridor, business is booming.
There's a lot of opportunity here, and some of that opportunity is a little bit undiscovered in the past. I think people are starting to understand now the value of the corridor of Highway 610 and 169.
Now, because of this business boom, Brooklyn Park would also like to see an interchange built right here at the intersection of US 169 and 101st Avenue. The city says it would ease congestion on 169 and nearby Minnesota 610. In Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
Brooklyn Park is also talking to groups that have an interest in possibly building hotels along the 610 corridor in the future.
Hennepin County foster care officials will be looking for a few caring families this week. Right now, there are more than 1,300 children in foster care homes, and 99 children are waiting for a foster family. One Brooklyn Park foster family says caring for children in crisis has been rewarding.
I believe it's kind of a mandate that we have to be able to be a blessing, especially for families that are going through so much, because these children see and hear so much, and we just want to be there to be a net, to be able to assist, and just to be an extension of their family.
And if you have an interest in becoming a foster parent, you can take the first step at a resource fair at the Hennepin County Library at Brookdale on Thursday night.
A Robbinsdale woman is feeling victorious. She beat breast cancer, and this weekend she did something she wasn't sure she could do. Leslie Anderson discovered she had an aggressive form of breast cancer while doing a self-exam in April of 2015. Leslie underwent 8 rounds of chemotherapy and had a double mastectomy in November. But she's a runner and set her goals on running the Birdtown 8K race.
I just wanted to prove to myself that I could, and that I could bounce back and be strong enough, and it was a goal that I had set for myself a year ago.
And number 267 crossed the finish line smiling and waving to the crowd. It's a day Leslie won't forget.
It was pretty amazing. I mean, a lot of emotions. Like, I just felt powerful and strong, and I don't know, it was a good it was a good reminder, like, just to, you know, think about the positive and stay in the moment, because of course
Leslie put off reconstructive surgery so she could participate in the race. She will have the surgery in June. We wish Leslie the best of luck.
Absolutely.
Coming up, a big medical device company completes its move to Plymouth.
And later in sports, Cooper wins again in prep baseball as the Hawks gear up for this week's section playoffs.
But first, scattered thunderstorms in the forecast this week. Your AccuWeather forecast is up next.
It's a move nearly 2 years in the making, but today one of Minnesota's largest medical device manufacturers opened in Plymouth.
In this week's Business Matters, a look at why Smith's Medical relocated its global headquarters.
All right.
Grand opening cheers from state and community leaders made it official. Smith's Medical global headquarters and its nearly 600 employees are now home in Plymouth.
We make the devices that help everywhere from critical situations on an ambulance or in an operating room, all the way to home care.
From IV needles to custom trachs, this specialty medical device manufacturer produces thousands of different products.
So this is called the CAD Solus.
But it's best known for its medication delivery systems, used in hospitals around the world and used recently for the delivery of a new baby born to one Smith's employee.
The decision was made to do an epidural medication delivery And much to my surprise, a CAD soulless pump was brought out and used for that delivery.
A $1.1 billion company and the state's fourth largest medical device company, the move of Smiths Medical from Arden Hills to Plymouth is a big deal.
It's really good for our economy in the city, but it's also good for our property taxes and our property values.
With the aid of nearly $2 million from the state and the incentive to add 162 new jobs, it's no coincidence the company chose to expand in Plymouth, where medtech neighbors include companies such as St. Jude Medical and Boston Scientific.
We just found that the community of like-minded companies in this area, as well as incentives, access to facilities, really made sense for us to be here.
We have over 130 medical technical companies that touch medtech in some way.
As Plymouth works to attract more companies like Smiths, its efforts could be aided by the bipartisan effort to suspend the medical device tax.
We will be able to go back to Washington and tell this story on the Senate and House floor.
As Smiths Medical grows, it found a home in Plymouth, and it likely won't be the last company of its kind to do the same thing.
Really adding these jobs in this industry, in this area, is really important, and I think it will just continue to thrive.
The Smith headquarters includes an expanded area for research and development. Coming up, a foot race with a small town feel. We will take a look.
And up next in sports, Armstrong closes in on a conference championship in boys lacrosse. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
Section softball playoffs get underway this week for the larger enrollment schools. 3 area teams play in Class A, and they are already well underway with the postseason. Heritage Christian Academy, one of those teams, taking on Lester Prairie in a second-round game in Ramsey. Lauren Robbins, the base runner here, stealing third for Heritage, and the throw gets away. Robbins keeps going and heads for home and scores one of 2 Eagles runs in the first inning. In the third, Morgan Meisner grounds a single to right field for Heritage. And when the throw back in gets away on the infield, Joni Witt comes in to score, and the Eagles lead 4-0 through 2.5 innings. But it's pretty much all Lester Prairie from there. Taylor Tretton singles to center field in the 4th inning. Nicole Ettinger and Kayla Weinsrell score, tying the game at 4. And in the 5th, Tretton delivers again. She'll double to the fence in right center. Weinsrell and Harley Henches score. Lester Prairie goes on to win the game 12-4. Lester Prairie then meet West Lutheran, the tournament's 2nd seed in the next round. Bottom of the 1st inning, Sienna Bjorlund singles past second into center. Miranda Wahlberg scores. Warriors go ahead 3-0 after 1. 4th inning, and Afton Zemke singles to right center field. Amelia Torpin comes in with another run to make it 5-0 West Lutheran. Bjorlund will get another run batted in on this ground out the 3rd. Laura Studansky scores on the play. And then finally, check out the catch in center field by West Lutheran's Sydney Capel. She'll take away a sure hit with this diving catch. West Lutheran wins 7-0. They'll face top seed Kimball area next. Maranatha Christian Academy is still alive in the losers bracket play. The regular season ends this week in high school baseball. The Cooper Hawks faced a team that will also be part of the upcoming Section 6 4A tournament. Sun-soaked day at Cooper for fans to take in the Millers and the Hawks. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Cooper's Stephen Fitzsimmons drives it all the way to the fence in center field. It scores the Hawks' 3rd run of the day. Fitzsimmons gets to third base on a triple. Next up, Blake Heilman, and he grounds a single to bring in Fitzsimmons, and Cooper leads at 4-0 after 3 innings. The Hawks add 3 more runs in the 6th. Thomas Hall scores on a wild pitch here. Cooper leads at 7-0 through 5. Melvin Newbern comes on to pitch in the 7th inning for the Hawks and finishes the game, getting a game-ending 4-6-3 double play. Cooper shuts out Washburn 7-0 for the Hawks' 3rd straight win. In boys lacrosse, Armstrong needed a win over Maple Grove to get a chance to play for a share of the Northwest Suburban Conference title this week. They got a major test from Maple Grove Crimson on Friday night. Quick passing for Armstrong leads to a goal. Joe Popro starting the scoring. The Falcons add another to go up 2-0 in this game. Maple Grove responds with a pair of goals. Hunter House scores, and it's 2-2 after a quarter, and that's the halftime score as well. Dathan Borwick becomes Armstrong's all-time leading scorer on this goal that gives the Falcons a 4-3 lead. Down by 1 in the last minute, Maple Grove comes back. House turns the corner on the defender and scores. tying it at 6 with 17 seconds left, and we go to overtime. Maple Grove gets 3 great chances to win, but goalie Nick Grongowski is a spectacular in goal for Armstrong, preserving the tie, and it leads to this game-winning goal. Matt Zehrer winning it there. Armstrong wins at 7-6, and that keeps their conference title hopes alive. In girls lacrosse Saturday, Armstrong hosted conference leader Champlin Park. Sam Nolan gets the Rebels started just over a minute in with a backhanded goal. It's her 60th of the season to make it 1-0. Hannah Lundquist of Armstrong, dodging several defenders here, puts this one away for a goal. She'll tie the game up at 1. Tara Dahlman scored twice during the game. She'll drive hard and get to the net here for Champlin Park to score. This goal makes it 3-1 Rebels. Mayola Shamlunsek wins the draw. She'll take this one herself to score for Armstrong, and the Falcons freshman scoring to make it a 4-2 game. But the Rebels keep the lead throughout the day. Nolan to Dahlman, back to Nolan for the goal to make it 7-4. Champlin Park led 9-4 at the half on the way to a 13-5 win. And that's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks a lot, John. We will be back in just a moment. Well, Monday might be a day to rest for some people after running in the Birdtown races this past weekend.
Yeah, stretch some muscles, right? As Sonia Goins reports, more than 700 runners took part.
Well, I guess the biggest thing that stands out is another successful race 3 years in a row. We've got almost 700 runners.
It was a beautiful day for the Birdtown races, but the sun wasn't the only thing shining.
We decided to get shirts made, or called the Road Runners.
Runners beamed as they got ready to run. A wide variety of racers took part.
Trying to have some fun.
Yeah, it's both their birthdays.
Yeah.
This duo decided to celebrate their 15th birthday by running the 8K race.
We're both runners, like the competition.
I like it because it's a smaller race. It's that kind of like family feel. It's a great course.
The course took racers through neighborhoods, parks, and lakes.
Which is part of why we do the race, is to showcase Robbinsdale and the other communities that participate in the race.
This is only the 3rd Birdtown race, but it's quickly becoming a favorite urban road race.
It's a good group of people that I know, that the pace group. Let's get people to their goal, to the finish on the time that they want. It's a beautiful community, great parks, great trails.
How about this happy guy crossing the finish line?
And what's a race without spectators cheering?
It keeps them motivated, keeps them going.
These men call themselves the Three Amigos.
That effort they put in made us encourage them, and they thanked us. They even came and gave us wet high fives.
Many folks crossed the finish line waving and smiling.
Top finisher for our half marathon.
And Michael Hartness came in first for the half marathon.
That was my goal. You never know who else shows up, so I was starting to wear out at the end there, so I was checking my shoulder a lot.
In Robbinsdale, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
That looks like a lot of fun, doesn't
What a
it?
day.
Of course, it also takes volunteers to pull off something like that, and there were about 100 of them to help make the event a success. And they had nice weather, too.
I was just going to say, you couldn't have asked for a better race
Absolutely.
day, I think.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again Tuesdays, starting at 4.